Okay, everyone. Good afternoon. Okay. I hope you all can see me. So my name is Aaron Mangal, and I'll be today's moderator. I'm also the current membership chairperson for SPE UTT, the student chapter, and on behalf of UE SPE and UTT SPE, I'd like to welcome all of you to our membership drive today. And first, I'd just like to go over some ground rules so that today's proceedings could be short as possible, as well as informative, because I know you all have a very busy schedule and we won't want to keep you all back for too long. So I'll take you all to the next slide, which will go over today's ground rules for the Zoom meetings. So today, could you all please create a profile? Please upload a profile image and enter your name so your instructors know who you are, even if you are not using your video or mic. Disruptions are quite normal. You're not in a classroom setting, and we know that life will happen around you, and that is quite okay. No video or mic, that's no problem. If you do not have a microphone or video available to you, please participate by using the chat function. And please do mute your mic if you are not speaking or need to step away from the meeting. Your video chat is also optional. Using video chat is great for interaction. We would like to interact with you since we can't do it in person to actually see a face to interact with. It makes it a lot easier to communicate. But if you're uncomfortable with it, we respect your privacy and that's all okay. But your backgrounds also afford privacy if you want us to see you, but not your surroundings. And please take note that today's session is being recorded. Okay. So next, I would just like to introduce the SPETT members that we have invited here today. Forgive me if I'm a bit slow this afternoon. This is my first time hosting a meeting. So thank you for that. Okay, so first I would like to introduce Mr. Brian Ramatali, who is the Trinidad and Tobago section chairman. I would like to further introduce Ms. Lisa Sukisun, the secretary. I would also like to introduce Ms. Susan Jamont, Gaia's liaison, and also, last but not least, Ms. Kami Along, the YP of the liaison. And they will further talk to you for the rest of the program. Mr. Brian.
Aaron, thank you so much. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for being here. I want to acknowledge Daniel Joseph as well, and thanks for the invitation. On behalf of the SPE, I just want to say thank you for asking us to come in this evening, have a little talk with your potential members and with some who are members already. So thank you so much. I acknowledge as well, we have Lizelle Kisun, Susan Jamat, and Kami Along, and they are also going to just say a few words to us during the presentation today. It's not really a formal presentation, it's more of a discussion. So I know I did this one Saturday morning and we were very disappointed with the turnout. Nevertheless, that's okay. We're here now, and I just want to say for those who didn't attend this Saturday, no problem. We're here to talk to you today, and we look forward to the feedback. In particular, you know, if you have any questions or suggestions and feedback, definitely put it in the chat, or feel free to unmute yourself and ask a question. All right, so thanks a lot. All right, so my question to you, I would start off with a question. My question to you, why SPE? Why the Society of Petroleum Engineers? And you may be asking yourself, well, that's why you're here, because you would like to learn and you would like to understand why I should consider SPE. Okay, so let me give you a gist of it. If I were your age, I would be extremely excited and happy, because in my days, SPE was not as accessible as it is today. And I would tell you that I yearn for these opportunities, or I reflect on these opportunities that are in current day, whereby it should have been available to many of the older members way back then. So why I'm trying to tell you that is because coming out of university or while in university, there's so many opportunities that you may have to learn, to develop your skills. And I'm not just talking about your academic skills. I have every confidence that you will ace that. I have no concerns there at all. But you're going to enter the working world. And really and truly, you need to be prepared for that, because the working world is very different from academic. And the academic world is really and truly one that you need to enjoy and have a lot of fun. You learn a lot. You excel at your learnings and your exams, and you do well, and you have all these relationships you develop. That's fantastic. But you need to step out, and you need to step into the working world confident. You need to be ready with your soft skills. How do you deal with teammates? How do you respect people? How do you accommodate people? How do you submit papers? What happens if you are going to be late? How do you communicate with individuals? And basically build those capacities that will make you an excel in the working world. So I am just trying to tell you that SPE, the Society of Petroleum Engineers, provides an opportunity for you to collaborate and put these learnings together. I have, as I mentioned, I have every confidence in the world of the petroleum engineering. You will do very well. But let's face the reality. You have to become acquainted with the industry. And why do I say that? It's because the industry is rapidly changing. And that's something, that is one message I want you to take away today. The biggest change in this world is going to be the change process itself. I want you to appreciate that and understand, because what you learn today is going to be foundational tomorrow. But the context in which you apply it is going to be substantially different. And that's going to change. There are going to be new technologies, there are going to be new processes. And at the end of the day, you need to adapt to that. And that adaptation takes time. That whole mental concept of change, continuous change, is something that you have to develop. You need to understand, you need to align yourself with. And I really and truly want you to understand that. I want you to understand the industry is going to change rapidly. And why is it going to change rapidly? Everyone here is saying that petroleum, or I wouldn't say everyone here, the word petroleum in society is getting a very negative backlash. And the reasons for that is because people are saying that petroleum is responsible for CO2. However, we are also in a very great position to manage that entire process. You are the future, and you are the ones who are going to come up with the new technologies, the new ideas, how you can use current technologies to mitigate CO2 in the industry. There are several things. I don't know if you are following, but there is, for example, one plant in Iceland. Oh, sorry. Yes, it's in Iceland. That was initially started, where they are actually taking CO2 from the environment and supercooling it and pumping it into the ground. I thought it's a pilot plant. It's very energy intensive, and it may not even be sustainable. However, people are thinking, they're being financed, projects, pilot projects are in works, and these are things that we need to align ourselves and understand. Today, I can tell you that we have someone who's going to talk a little bit about the sustainability programs, and that's Susan, someone who I respect highly. And that's somebody I think you should be getting to know and associate yourselves with as well too, because of the fact that this is where we need to be. The world is going to need energy. And I'm sorry if you think that the wind and solar is going to be the wave of the future. It is going to be a wave of the future, but it's not going to take care of that demand in energy. That demand in energy, in particular in the Asian world, is going to grow so rapidly that governments are going to turn to the easiest way of getting that energy, and that is from petroleum. Fortunately, the predictions are it's going to be mainly natural gas, and oil will change over the years and more natural gas will be used, which is a cleaner fuel. And what we are seeing, and there's a prediction whereby coal will be used less in the future. And coal does provide a lot of CO2 in the environment. So you have so many opportunities available to you as young students. And I think you have to navigate and find all these things. You go onto the internet and you will find so many different associations. You'll find so many different things that you can get involved in. But you need to focus. SPE Trinidad and Tobago has been around for a very long time. Very strong, very focused in disseminating information. And as young individuals coming out, you need to develop that network and those connections in the industry. You want the best job. Anybody here who is studying hard to come out and just not really looking for a job, just put your hand up you can just raise your hand on the Zoom. Anybody interested in just, going to school and, after that, no big deal, no job? All right, let's turn that question around. For those of you who are studying hard and want to get out in the industry and want an awesome job, so that you could have an awesome car, you can have an awesome house, you could start a family in the future. Anybody along those thought processes, you want to just raise your hand? I see 1, 2, 3. So only 4. So only 4 people want the best jobs. 5. All right. Only 5 people. 6. All right. We get in there. 7. We're moving along. Well, I hope everybody will join this trend of thought, because you deserve to get the best job, but you can only get the best job by simply aligning yourselves and networking with the right individuals in the industry. SPETT provides that opportunity. Now, you have experts here. You have people who are in the industry. You have people who want to share things with you and share their stories. And the reality is that you need to align with them. How many of you have the capabilities at this point in time to call one of the CEOs, let's say the CEO of BHP, and have a one-on-one? Anybody here? Okay, just give me a raise hand. So we have Daniel, his hand is up, okay. Just one person has that opportunity. Great, but why shouldn't that opportunity not be available to each and every one of you here? I think it's a fair comment, not so? Do you agree with that? Well, I think it should be, because you would like to know the learnings from those individuals. What did they experience? How could they help you? Don't you want to be a CEO of a company one day? Wouldn't it be nice if you're a CEO of BPTT? Why not? And who's to know you can't be the CEO of BPTT one day? It's very possible. And those are the foundational things that you need to pick up on. SPETT provides those opportunities for you. It creates the avenues for you to network, meet people, develop your soft skills, develop a career pathway, and find that awesome job you're looking for. Whether it is in Trinidad, whether it's international, and eventually come back to Trinidad and take over BPTT, you never know. All you know, it will not be BPTT later on in life. It might be Heritage, Petroleum that owns assets in Qatar and in Guyana, and you don't know. You just don't know. And you need to think forward like that. Where are you going to be in 50 years? And one of the reasons why I want you to be aligned to the environment and in terms of sustainable businesses, and in SB we call this Gaia. I want you to know that when you start something now, 30 years from now, you are going to look back and you are going to see the seeds that you planted, and you're going to see how those grew. You are going to make the decisions that will impact the world 30 years from now. And your work that you do today is not going to be seen tomorrow. It's going to be seen in the future. It's going to be seen in 20 years, 30 years from now, 40 and 50 years. Ladies and gentlemen, these are your opportunities. Build on them, navigate. Yes, get that awesome job. Yes, have a financial success and a financially strong future. Have that best car. Have that best house. Build the pool and the jacuzzi you want. It doesn't matter. Go for your dreams. Have whatever you want. But that inner satisfaction is going to come from the work you really do. And as you grow older, you are going to look back to see what you have really done to this Mother Earth. And you are going to be in a position now to collate all this that I'm talking to you about and make something, not only of your life, but of this world. So it's in your hands. And I ask you to seriously review sbe.org, have a chat with people in SB. A lot of fantastic, amazing people in SB. I want to tell you, amazing. And I will ask you to seriously think about it. Think about your future. Think about your jobs. Think about all these things that you can have. We are here for you. We're SBTT. And we are here for you. So now I would like to I would like to open for Suzanne Jama to have a little talk with you with respect to Gaia, and then I will ask Lizelle and I will ask Kami to have a little talk with you as well too. Okay, so Suzanne, all over to you, and thank you everyone for listening to me. Thank you.
I just want to share my screen. Okay. Hi, good evening, everyone. It's so nice to see some young faces. I remember there was a time when I was your age, yes, and I was at UWI and I did the same programs that you guys are going or doing at the present. That was a while ago. So now, you know, I've had about, let's say roughly 15 to 20 years in the industry. I was lucky enough to go straight into the BPTT, which was, you know, a huge deal and still is a huge deal at the moment. But I had the opportunity to work fantastic natural gas projects, both locally as well as foreign. So I've had a couple of stints abroad as well. But what's interesting, what I really want to bring to the conversation is why Gaia became important to me and why sustainability became important to me. And it's critical, I think, for your careers as well, and as for your education as you move forward, because the SPE is offering you a fantastic opportunity to learn about sustainability. At the time I joined BPTT and finished my studies, I didn't have this opportunity, and I never followed up on it. And now that it's sort of becoming kind of like the cool thing, I took the chance and I've actually gone back to school to do an MSc in energy policy because I want to understand what is actually happening to my industry. I don't want to hear it secondhand. I want to learn about it myself. And I think this is what Gaia is doing for the engineers globally, as well as in Trinidad and Tobago. So let me tell you a little bit about what Gaia is. So Gaia was actually put together in 2019. It's a global SPE initiative. We here in Trinidad and Tobago, we belong to the Latin American Caribbean region. And each of the countries that are members of the regional body, we all have Gaia chapters. The objective of Gaia is to essentially promote sustainability within the oil and gas industry, to teach us about sustainability, and it builds on a framework of 9 priorities, pathways, and principles. So I'll touch a little bit on the priorities. So the priorities really for Gaia is understanding the energy mix and diversifying our energy mix. Brian spoke powerfully about the role that oil and gas, fossil fuels, coal included, play within the overall global energy mix, and they're not going away. At the moment, they probably provide about 80 to 90% of our energy needs on a global basis. But it's important to understand that there's a need to diversify, bring in renewable energies, and it's all about creating that healthy mix between oil and gas and renewable energy systems such as wind, such as solar. The second priority is around preservation of our ecosystem, our waterways, forests, our lands. They provide our food and they provide our oxygen. And then finally, it's all about learning, pushing basically the 17 United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. These were actually pulled together by the United Nations as guiding principles to take us towards 2030. So it's all, they're fundamental, there's a fundamental mix of alleviating poverty, ensuring health and welfare to all citizens of the world. And then finally, it's all about protecting the planet. And the key is, how is Gaia going to do this? It's all about innovating, coming up with new technology, measuring what matters, communicating, educating, essentially working together. Now, at any time, if you feel you have any questions, please do ask, because it is a conversation we have. I wanted to include this slide because I thought it was powerful in your understanding why this is so important. Now, Trinidad and Tobago, on a per capita basis, we do emit quite a bit of carbon dioxide and greenhouse gas emissions. And it's really, those really come from our transportation sector, power generation. We rely heavily on diesel and natural gas for our energy needs. And then finally, we have our downstream industries that pull natural gas, and it's the foundation of our economy. Typically, we emit about 35 million tons per year. On a volume-wise basis, this isn't too bad, I think. This places us roughly about 72nd in the world globally, with China, of course, being #1. So China, actually, if you want to think about numbers in comparison, China actually emits roughly 10 billion tons of CO2 per year. So we're quite small in comparison to China. The issue, though, is, of course, the well-known impacts of CO2 and greenhouse gases, the negative impacts on the environment. Rising trends in temperature, rising sea levels, flooding, frequency of storms and hurricanes. And the issue is that, and I mean, you must notice it as well, that for small island developing states, which is what we call Caribbean islands, because of our landmass, we're very, very vulnerable to the effects of climate change. So that is really quite important for us. Interestingly, our government has taken notice, and it has actually set a couple targets for us as a nation. So the first is 10% renewable energy by 2021. It's a slow road, but you do see an effort towards getting us to that target. So you see we now have the BP light source coming in, and there's some small solar panel projects that have come into being over the last month or so. So we are making some very small strides, but we're getting there. And then finally, there is we have a 15% commitment to reducing our GHG emissions. And that really goes towards the Paris Agreement and our commitment. We call it our nationally, let me get the right word, our nationally determined contribution, or NDC. So every country has one, and our commitment is that 15% to ensuring that we don't get a 2°C rise in temperature by 2050. Now, I also wanted to include a little bit of blurbs around how we can impact GHG and CO2 emissions within our industry. And there's several ways that are out there and are being worked very hard by industry leaders. So there's carbon capture and storage. Brian alluded to that technology. There is a pilot going on in Iceland where you capture liquefy carbon dioxide and reinject. We have enhanced oil recovery. So many of you, you'll learn about that in your program as you move forward. I think Heritage is moving to actually initiate a big an EOR project locally. So, you know, we're getting on board. There's also control of spills and leaks, methane, oil spills. There's also a concept whereby we can actually use renewable energy at our facilities, at our sites. And then finally, reforestation, which is, I think, an easy and quick win. Oh, I just wanted to touch on what we've done so far. So I've been in this role for roughly about 4 months, and we've done quite a bit, I think, since coming on board. Our LinkedIn profile and social media presence has really taken off, pushing the Gaia initiative. So we've already completed a talk. We did our launch back in August, very successful launch where we sort of provided information on energy education available both at UE and UTT. And it was very well received, and it has actually been repeated by the regional Gaia lead. He duplicated the talk because it came across so well. Secondly, there was World Water Week. We pushed that. That also happened in August. Really well received as well. I want to encourage you to think about our upcoming talk, which is entitled Towards Sustainability, Energy Sector of Trinidad and Tobago. So this is really through the, excuse me, just my dog, through the lens of COP26. So at this talk, it will be next week, Tuesday, and I really encourage you to come because it will kind of raise the visibility of COP26, which is our upcoming global climate change conference, which will be held the first week of November in the United Kingdom. And this is where each of the signatories to the Paris Agreement come on board and sort of provide progress or updates on where they each are towards attaining their commitments. So we have two very senior folks from the Ministry of Planning and Development. We have Kishan Kumar Singh, a very good friend of mine. He's actually attending the conference, so he'll be out of the country that first week of November. And then we have Cindy, who supports Kishan. So I think this would be a really fantastic opportunity for us all. And it's free to the public, so you're not, whether you're a member or not, please, I really encourage you to try to attend if you can. Upcoming, we have a 3-day seminar on sustainable development goals. So that will be a region-wide seminar, which will be led by Cesar, our regional lead. Between the 3rd and 5th of November, I think it's also a fantastic opportunity to learn about the sustainable development goals. So we'll have a multitude of panel discussions and speakers across the region, from both the Caribbean and Latin America. And then finally, we have our SPE3 program, which still has to be launched. And this is all around reforestation and bringing a bit of greenery back into our local environment. Finally, I want to show you a bunch of useful links to information that you can follow up on. And goes back to Brian's comments around, getting onto the spe.org site. We have live events. We also have events cataloged. So they're open for viewing. We have a strong LinkedIn group, which encapsulates the global community. So you can always become a member of that if you are on LinkedIn. And then finally, there's a nice Gaia hub where which sort of gives you all the information about the program itself. So I do encourage you to go and have a look. I think it's a lot of powerful data. In addition to what we provide, I also encourage people to take your time, read. If you have spare time at all, spend it on the internet. The internet provides you with a lot of extra information on sustainability and the environment and governance. It's important to know it is becoming a pretty big part of our industry moving forward. So that's more or less it for me. If you have any questions at all, I'd be happy to take them. And if not, I will hand you back over to Brian. As well, before I hand you back over, if you do also feel free to contact me. I'm on LinkedIn. Daniel and those guys have my email address as well. So do feel free to reach out. Thank you.
Thank you, Suzanne. I mean, always very insightful. And I just want to let you know, to everybody here, I'm extremely passionate about Gaia. I think it's one of the greatest things that I've seen in a very long time, because it's something that we could all relate to. And I wanna give some stories. I mean, what does it mean to us? We do all these things for what? As a young individual, I started traveling to many different countries for work, and I still do. And I've seen the differences over the years. Let's just make reference to Trinidad, the Mosquito Creek, a very simple thing like that. Let's look at Mayara beaches. Look at the erosion that's taking place. Very simple little things right here in our backyard, but these are real situations that we need to take control of. I want to give you a classic example. Everybody talks about Bahamas as being pristine and beautiful. It is, it really is. But let me explain this to you. I go to this little island, this beautiful little island of Freeport in Bahamas very, very often. I've been there through hurricanes myself. Fortunately, I wasn't there for Hurricane Irma, but I watched Hurricane Irma envelope that little island of Freeport, and I was horrified. I saw my own friends on television the day after on their roofs looking for help to get out because the entire island was underwater. The airport, which I was so accustomed to, was all gone 100%. I go to Suriname. In those days in Suriname, way back maybe 20, 25 years ago, the river was pristine, was beautiful, was something I enjoyed. Today, I watch that river with fear, not because of piranhas, but because when rain comes and a high tide is there, that beautiful city of Paramaribo comes underwater. These are real effects. We talk about our reservoirs here, right here in Trinidad. Oh, we full, we okay. Next dry season, we set, we good to go. But what is our temperatures? Are we seeing a change or increase in our temperature? And your young minds will start thinking, but wait a second, if we increase in temperature, would we have a faster evaporation rate? Where will that water go? Water is going to become a necessity. We are going to fight for water. We need water to live. And it's similarly, we need water for our food support, to grow our food. So I'm here to tell you, you are in control of your future, but you're in control of not only your future, but everybody's future. Make those decisions now. The call for sustainability, the call for climate change is not tomorrow. It is yesterday. Please, I beg you to consider what I'm saying. These are real issues. And you can make the change. I'm asking you, join, become aware, get involved. You will have no regret later on in life. I promise you that. But the opportunities are in your hands to make that change. All right, I know you don't want to hear much of me again, so I'm sorry I'm taking up so much time. I will ask Lizelle if she would like to say a few words as well.
Thank you, Brian. Hi, good evening, everyone. Thank you, Susan, for that very insightful introduction to Gaia, and I'm sure all the students are very excited. I am very excited as well. So I just want to give everyone some insight into my experience with SB and why I enjoy it so much. I'm also very passionate about SBE. I have been in SBE since 2011. I joined as a student like yourself. I joined through UWI as a student member. And after I graduated, I continued on into as a professional member when I joined the real industry. And I have been a member since, so I've been in SBE about 10 years now. So what has SBE done for me? So many things. First of all, it's a platform that you can represent yourself and display yourself, display knowledge to the world, display knowledge locally and internationally. So you can attend conferences, you can attend lectures. There's so many events that SBE normally has, and hopefully post-COVID that you guys can experience all that SBE has to offer. So besides leadership and soft skills that you can get from doing presentations, writing papers, you have an excellent opportunity to network with people from all aspects of the industry. This upcoming thing with Gaia, you'll get to network with all the sustainability folks. You can network with all the stakeholders in the industry, Ministry of Energy, operators, service companies. So it's really an avenue for you to build in networking skills. And why is networking important? It is not because 10 of you, 10, 15 of you are gonna graduate, I'm sure with all first class honors. But what is gonna make you stand out is your character, your work ethic, your attitude, how you can work with others. And through SB, you can network and others can build a reputation of you. So all those things are very important in the industry. Also, I see SBE as an avenue to broaden my horizon. For example, I've always been in oil and gas, and I'm very excited about Gaia and sustainability now and how it affects the oil and gas industry. So you get to learn a lot through SBE from the work of others as well. So for example, I'm currently at UG, but I also, I network within SB and I would see what BHP is doing. I'll see what the ministry is doing. I could see what all the different stakeholders in the industry is doing. So it's a good way to broaden your horizon and increase your knowledge base. And most importantly, SB is all about is an avenue to meet people and have fun. So that is also a plus. And I must say, I really hope you can stay on as professional members when you graduate, and post-COVID you can experience some of the fun events that SB usually has and can do some in-person events such as the All Fours competition, the distinguished lecturers, get some nice free food, attend a Christmas party, all those fun stuff. So it's not just about work, it's all about making a difference in this world, networking, increasing your skills, and just enjoying life. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Lisa.
Thank you,
Ms.
Lisa. Yeah, thank you so much. I think I just want to say I'm extremely proud of all board members, and Lizelle is our secretary, and I cannot say, I just can't stop, boasting about how proud, it is to be among, people with such character. And you should aspire, listen very well to what she was mentioning, aspire for these things. I think it's fantastic. All right, so I'd just like to ask Cami to say a few words now.
Hi, good afternoon. You guys would just have to bear with me. I really don't know how to do the blurred background thing, so we'll just have the porch. Hi, everyone. As Brian and Aaron would have introduced me, my name is Cami. I am what would be the fresh blood on the board. I just recently joined, and I'm looking forward very much to working with you guys. I'm the YP liaison, and as a result of that, I will be working pretty closely with the student chapters. So I'm sure we'll get an opportunity to get to know each other a little better in future. What I would like to say is just to kind of touch on each of these points that my previous fellow board members would have spoken about. I think that the SBE, especially while I was still enrolled in UWI, was a great opportunity for me to get some exposure to the industry as well as industry professionals and learn the value of my voice as a new member of the industry. And I think that is something that helps foster a lot of confidence for younger professionals, because we find a lot of trouble, you know, being able to speak up and understand that our perspective and a new perspective could be something that is greatly appreciated and a great contribution to things at large. So I want an opportunity to be fostered for you guys to learn the value of your voice, to understand that this networking opportunity is a way for you to not only learn, but to share your perspective when it is we're called upon to be part of a discussion. In future, as I would have said, I would be liaising with you guys directly. So that would be entailing a number of things. So it would be just direct communications from the board to your student chapters. And I would also like to make sure that you guys are very much engaged with us so that you get that one-to-one connection that I think would be so great for beginning the early stages of your career. So I want to say now, and I'll reiterate in the future, that this is an open forum. So you could feel free. I'll leave my contact with, I believe, Aaron and whoever your student chapter president would be, so that you guys have a direct line of communication, so that any ideas that you might have that you would like to share or any questions that you might have, you could reach out to myself or any of the board members and try to make sure that you stay engaged and in the forefront of what it is we want to share with you. I would also like to just say one thing. I believe that one quote stuck with me that my mother would have shared with me when I was still in school. And I had been looking up to a lot of the engineers and geoscientists that had so many years of experience and worried about whether or not I would be able to garner that type of experience and have that type of hold on my profession. And she said, you need not worry about being the next Paisley Vincent or anything like that. You need to worry about being the best version of yourself. And I think that being part of a professional society like this, is a great way for you to gain the confidence to do that and to be much more confident to put your best foot forward and to develop a thirst for knowledge. Yeah, so that's mostly what I would like to say. Thank you so much for the opportunity to speak with you guys. Let me know if anybody has any questions at all.
Thank you so much, Kami. Very passionate. I appreciate your contribution, and I'm very sure everybody could align themselves and they appreciate what you're saying. And just to everyone, you will be seeing a lot more of Kami, so get acquainted. And again, you can reach out to her. You can reach out to any of us from the board as well. And being on the board, I'll tell you as it is, we are here for you 100%. We are at your disposal. Utilize us anytime. Okay, this is definitely somewhere with something that's two-way. So let me, before I hand over to Aaron again, I just want to say a special thank you to Suzanne, to Lizelle, and to Kami for supporting this evening. And everyone speaks from their heart. They are very intelligent, and I will be honest with you. I'll just say we are here once again for all of you. All right. So if you have any questions, we're open for questions, and I hand over now to Aaron. Thank you.
Thank you so much to everyone. It was very informative, and I actually learned a lot about that whole aspect of the petroleum industry. You've answered a lot of our questions, and the rumor is going around right now that the petroleum industry is dying, and that has had me in a very iffy state about whether I made the right choice. But as you said, the industry is going to be here for a very long time because it is our main source of energy, and countries will be looking to, continue on the easier path. And yes, we will, it will take some time to try and convert ourselves to that part of the industry where energy is clean. But you have answered a lot of our questions today, and on behalf of the committee here, the students of SBE, we'd like to say thank you for that, because personally you know, it has had me a bit scared, not knowing where the industry is turning to right now, and seeing a committee such as SB being so unified, it does bring some reassurance to me. So I'd like to thank everybody who joined us today for that. So does anybody have any questions that you would like to possibly ask Mr. Brian or any of the speakers that were here today? You can chat, type in your box, or put on your mic and talk. Anyone at all? Okay, seeing that no one has any questions, I would continue to move on. I'm just getting something here. Please bear with me. Okay. So I'd like to just make a few announcements. So, sorry, I'd like to show you all how to join SPE. In case any of you have not joined us yet, please do so as soon as possible, because you will be missing out a lot on all the opportunities that they have in store. Okay, so I'll take you all through how to join, how to become a member. So the application process is a very simple one, and I urge you to do this as soon as the meeting is over, to try and save time. And honestly, networking is a very important thing, and I would like you to do that as soon as possible. So step one, all you need to do is to go to the website, SPE's website, at www.spe.org/en/. After that, you go on to click Join SPE. And on signing up, you enter the country and click free 1-year membership, which is sponsored by Chevron. Step 4, you select student membership. And this is a very important thing. We have come across a lot of problems. If you don't do some of these things, we try to fill in those concerns. So fill out your educational information properly, as this would aid in the process of joining the UWI SPE student chapter. When you're signing up for your membership, and you have to include the university name, you place it exactly as we have it here, the University of West Indies, St. Augustine. It's very important that you put it exactly as stated there, because there's a lot of complications when you don't. For the degree section, if you are pursuing a Bachelor of Science or a postgraduate diploma, or a Master of Science, or a Master of Philosophy, or a Doctor of Philosophy, please indicate accordingly. The program type, please indicate the program you are pursuing accordingly. And the benefits. Right. So being part of SPE, you meet a lot of practicing professionals at meetings or society events. And I can tell you personally, there are a lot of meetings and societal events. You could apply for a mentor and receive practical career advice that would eventually be of a great help further down in your career. Receive discounts on textbooks, reference books, and other society publications. Apply for SPE scholarships offered both undergraduate and graduate students pursuing degrees related to the oil and gas industry. Participate in SPE programs, e-mentoring, online communities, and paper contests. Your dues are also paid by Chevron, who is our corporate sponsor for SPE student dues program. And participate with your university chapter by joining an SPE committee. Right, so your eligibility, you must be enrolled in a university and carry at least 30% of the normal full-time academic load, as well as at least one of the following: be pursuing the equivalent of a bachelor's or graduate degree, or attend a university with an SPE established student chapter. And that's it, you remember, and you get the number of benefits that have been described by all of our speakers, and plus there are many more that they probably weren't able to include. So I urge you, please sign up as soon as possible. And if you need this slide, you could contact me and I will be happy to send it over to you. Okay, so now I would like to make a few announcements. Right, so previously mentioned by Ms. Jamont, Gaia is having a talk entitled To Join Sustainability in the Energy Sector, Trinidad and Tobago, held on October 5th, 2021 from 5:30 to 6:30. I urge you all to go and also listen to these professionals because they do share insight on what the industry is doing today and how you can improve. And SPE, I believe, and I would like to tell you that once you join SPE, all of these events and stuff is emailed to you so that you are aware of it and you don't miss out on any of these things. So as I said, please try and get yourself into SPE as a member as soon as possible. And yeah, that's about it. Is there any questions whatsoever that you would like to ask the speakers before they leave? Okay, type it in the chat box. You can put on your mic to ask. Okay, I'll now forward you to Daniel. Take over.
Yeah, guys, good afternoon, everybody. Probably just to introduce myself, my name is Daniel Joseph. I would be the SPE president, UWI student chapter president for the next for the upcoming year 2021 to 2022. And I just probably like to express my thanks to all the speakers that spoke this afternoon. I mean, I really felt inspired, and it was a really great session, and I appreciate the time that you all took to speak to us. And I hope the people on the call also felt inspired and would want to be a part of the society, right? We didn't really go into some of the things that the chapter has planned, but if you want to know like some of the things that we have already done, and you can feel free to check our social media pages, for example, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn as well, via those usernames. So you can look us up. You would see some of the things that we've already done and the things that we are usually involved in, right? We will definitely try to be active on the social medias with posting those events, so you can look forward to that. If you all have any information or want to know any information or want to contact us, you can use the email given there. If you all also want to find out anything or any contact for the speakers from this afternoon or anything in general or SPE related, again, just pop us an email and we will reply to you all in a timely manner. In terms of the YouTube page, we've had some technical sessions, as well as this session would be uploaded to the YouTube page, so you can always check that out. And And yeah, so I guess that's basically all I have to say on my end. Again, thanks to everyone that came out, and we look forward for you all to be a part of the chapter and by extension, the entire society. So yeah, I think that's all I have to say. Iran?
Thank you, Daniel. I would also like to say thanks to everybody who joined us today. Mr. Ramatali for getting all the speakers and for clearing up all the stuff and sharing your insights on the industry. I'd like to also thank everybody for coming here today, whoever is on the call. And yeah, I hope you'll enjoy the rest of the evening. And yeah, this is concluding our proceedings.
Okay, thank you. Have a good evening.
Thanks,
you.
everyone. Have a good evening.
Thanks, everyone.